Hi guys, and welcome back to Creatography Live. Sorry it's been a while. Today we're going to be covering getting the correct exposure in Photoshop the nice and simple way. So let's get to it. We're going to go to File and Open. I'm going to pick an image on the fly. So I'm going to pick one from, let's say, let's pick one from this year. Okay, I'm going to pick one from a place called Malcop. And here we can see one here. We're just going to pick this one. And we're going to have our preview in RAW here. So there are ways you can do everything we were going to do in Photoshop straight in RAW. So the first thing you normally do is go over to your lens correction. Let's get our lens correction sorted. And the reason I have had no lens profile come up is because I've been using the Sony a7 II, and it doesn't always remember your lens until you click it. So you can see here it's quite dark. So if you adjust your exposure, if you keep your finger on Alt and then move your slider to the left or to the right. So if you go to the right, it will show you here at the top. So anywhere at the top here where it's that really, really bright, it's telling you it's overexposed. So we're going to keep knocking it back until you have no more reds. Okay, so there is still detail, it's just showing us how white it is here. But then what we'll do, depends what we're exposing for, if you want the clouds or not. So let's do this again. You could do the same with the shadows. So we could knock it back so we get some more detail in the shadows. So where you see it's black, so where you can see it's black here, that means it's clipping your blacks. So you want to bring that over slightly. And with your blacks again, if you go to the left, it's going to show you where it's clipping, too dark. Keep your finger on the Alt key and slide to the right until all those blacks go. That's only if you don't want any really dark places in your image. And you do the same with the whites. Too bright, take it back. There you go. Do the same with the shadows. Bring up the shadows, get rid of much of that black as possible. Same with your highlights. And then we click, okay, let's give a bit of vibrancy and clarity. Also, if you wanted to, you can go into your sharpening. You can zoom in 100%. And if you keep your finger on the Alt key again, because the Alt key is magic when it comes to Photoshop and especially Camera Raw. And then when you start moving your sliders, you'll be able to see how it's affecting. So if you look in this area here with the spikes coming out, if you can see now, it's quite soft. I've taken the sharpening all the way down. If I move it to the extreme right, you can see how it starts to sharpen. So it's finding a midway ground where you're not getting too much noise. So if you look at the sky to the right here, you can see there's loads of noise. So we've pushed it too far. So keep taking it back until you lose that noise. Our radius works in the same way. It's telling our Camera Raw how much to sharpen. So if you go too far to the right, it will sharpen everything and you start getting halos. You can just about see the halos around the black with the really, really dark lines. So again, you control that just to sharpen what you need. And then you can bump your details up. And that's just like giving it edge definition. And masking. Now, if this works right, masking will mask out what it doesn't see a big difference in contrast in. So because the sky here doesn't have much contrast, as opposed to the gaps between the rocks here, it will start to turn black, saying it's not going to sharpen that area. So you can keep moving your masking. So we don't want the sky sharpened, so we can keep going to about there. Then you can go back up to your amount of sharpening and push that a little bit more, knowing that it's not going to affect the sky. So we can go from a before any editing, then after. Now, in order to get the correct exposure in Photoshop, this is so simple. Not many people do it for some reason. All we need to do is go to our adjustments. Going to go to our levels. Now you have 3 droppers here. You have highlights, your shadows, and your midtones. Okay, so lights, darks, and middles. Now if you pick the bottom one, and you can just about see it's got like a white head. This has got a black at the end, and this has got a grey. So if you pick the white one, and then go to the right where it's also white, can you see the white slider here? If you keep your finger on Alt and adjust that slider, you'll be able to see what it's showing us. It's basically blowing out. You see, it's blowing out. So to the left is actually lightening. So what I normally do is you slide it all the way to the left. Let me zoom out a bit. As long as you have this white dropper selected and Alt pressed, you'll see where it's being blown out. All the whites are the blown out areas. All you have to do is left click on the brightest part. Again, it's saying it's blown out here. Left click here, left click. Now you don't want to go in too close where there's too much going on. I mean, here there's still quite a lot of space. There's more white than there is little bits of pixels that we can see. So I'll click it again. Oh, there's some more whites over here. There, so all you have now are just 2 red areas. That's fine. And we go to the blacks and do the same. Keep your finger on Alt, slide the blacks until we start to see black. And then we start clicking the black areas. Now it's up to you if you want the clothes. I'm not too bothered about the clothes. It's more the foreground I'm interested in. Now the midtones also help with your white balance. So this kid here has a grey shirt. So I press Alt, click on the grey shirt or the black. Okay, but grey's better. And there you go. That's basically how to get the best exposure you're going to get in Photoshop, a nice, quick and simple way. Then you can start working with if you wanted to bring the sky down. But before and after, it may look subtle. So this is the before, this is the after. I know it's not an extreme case, but what we can do to make it fair, we'll open up another image. And let's pick something at random. I actually won't adjust it in RAW at all. Just going to open straight into Photoshop. There we go. And I'll do exactly the same. So I'll go to my levels, go to my lights first. And I can already see where it's actually blown out already. And that's what I would have fixed in Camera Raw. But let's just go too bright. And see, we can't make it go any darker at the moment. We could have probably got a way of doing that in RAW unless we'd blown the highlights. So then we're going to go to our darks. I mean, I could even look here and see. But brighten it up. Pick the right one, brighten it up. And then we'll work again on the blacks. That's fine. Yep. And then we can pick our midtones. Oh, so here, on shots like this where you haven't got a grey card on you, I normally pick silver. So I know the frame is silver. Or you've got the whites here. If I'm just being lazy. So you have your before and your afterwards. So your before and after. Again, nice and simple. You can do that with anything. You can do that with portraits, whatever you wish. So I hope you got something out of this. And if you did, please give me a like, give me a comment down below, and I will put some more on soon. So thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe. Cheers.